Thank you very much. I'd like to call the meeting to order this afternoon and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Inuit, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. And my name is Brent McIntyre, and I'll be chairing the meeting this afternoon. Zooming in is Bob Hutchings, and sitting next to me in the boardroom is Ian Mann. Jason Robertson will be our recording secretary, and Ryan Valderrama is the assessor for today's hearing. To the Zoom participants of the hearing, please note you are placed in the waiting room until your property is called. When it is your turn, you will be admitted into the meeting. Kindly follow along on the City of Winnipeg's Border Revision YouTube channel for the hearing process. Bob Hutchings, and sitting next to me. Once the host admits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You will then be permitted to speak with respect to your property. Once your hearing has concluded, you can leave the meeting. You will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the Board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the Board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the Board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. This afternoon, we will be hearing items 1 through 8 on our docket. Mr. Robertson, please affirm the assessors and the applicant's testimony. Thank you very much.
Mr. Assessor. Ryan?
Yes.
Please state your full name.
Ryan Valderrama.
Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Dupont.
Hello,
Please state your full name.
Henry Dupont.
Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. My understanding is there's a preliminary issue regarding late filing by the Altus Group. Ryan, do you have any objections to it?
No, Henry already advised me ahead of time regarding that one, and submitted mine on time, and I told him, yeah, it's okay. It's a day late, so it's fine.
Okay, the Board will take a 5-minute recess and deliberate. Yeah, sure. Thank you. The Board has considered the issue of late filing by the agent, and based on the assessor's response and the Board's discussion, we will accept Mr. Dupont's evidence for the purpose of this hearing. So we shall start on the first property is 644 Portage Avenue. And Ryan, you can start your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first property has a file number of 22-1570. The roll number for this property is 12090592100. The property is located at 644 Portage Avenue. We're dealing with the roll year of 2023 using the reference date of April 1st, 2021. The property has two assessments. The first one is assessed at $2,976,000 with a classification of 20 residential 2 and a liability of taxable. The second assessment for the property is valued at $742,000, classified as an other property with a fully taxable liability. A total assessment for this property is $3,718,000. The property is a Res M or an apartment multi-use, has one building, 5 stories. It has an actual and effective year built of 1909, has 40 suites, 21 outdoor parking, has a land area of 15,095 square feet, a plan area of 9,047 square feet, and a total gross floor area of 54,282 square feet. Page 3, I attached the photos for the subject property. And page 4 is the income valuation summary. The average monthly rent per unit for the apartment or the multifamily is about $787.42. And I do have two summaries here. I'll start with the apartment or the 20T. Gross potential rent is $387,411. It has a vacancy rate of 3.2%, or in terms of dollars, it's $12,397. It has an effective gross income of $375,014. It has an expense ratio of 53.18%, or in terms of dollars, it's $199,432, giving it a net operating income of $175,580. Using the capitalization rate of 5.9%, the apartment or multifamily section of this property has income of $2,975,966. On the retail side, it's 60T. The gross potential rent is $68,790. Has a vacancy rate of 6%, or a vacancy in terms of dollars of 4,127. Applying the vacancy to the gross potential rent, the effective gross income is $64,663. The shortfall rate is $7 per square foot, or in terms of total dollars, it's $3,304. Expense rate of 3%, or in terms of dollars, it's $1,940. The net operating income for this section of the property is $59,382. Given the capitalization rate of 8%, the capitalized income is $7,275. And on the page 6 are some comparables and comparable leases. I'll start with the rent comparables. There are 4. The first one is located at 785 Beverly Street. Its average monthly rent per unit is $788. The second one is located at 581 Sherbrooke Street. Has an average monthly rent per unit of $757. Sorry. The third one is located at 47 Furby Street. Has an average monthly rent per unit of $906. And the last one is located at 1080 Wellington Avenue. Has an average monthly rent per unit of about $741. For the commercial side, there are some comparable leases. The first one located at 565 Portage Avenue. I think there was an error on the net rent per square foot, Mr. Chairman, on this one. I apologize. It didn't populate. I'll go with the 88 Sherbrooke Street. Its net rent per square foot is $24.46. On page 7, some capitalization rates. This is applied to all of the other properties moving forward in today's docket. I'll I'll just run through this and it will be applied on other properties, Mr. Chairman, for the sake of facilitating it faster.
Thank you.
Capitalization rate or method is used to convert a property's single year of income into an indication of value by dividing the estimated net operating appropriate capitalization rate. Capitalization rates can be derived from properties that have sold by dividing each property's net operating income by its sale price. For the 2023 general reassessment or April 1st, 2021 reference date, capitalization rates were derived from the model of net operating income and sale prices that were time adjusted to April 1st, 2021. The assessed values of these model generated capitalization rates were compared to sale prices, and assessment to sale price ratios were calculated. The resulting ratio statistics for the assessment and taxation departments income producing model satisfy the standard specified set forth in the standard on ratio studies approved on April 2013 and as published by the International Association of Assessing Officers, or IAAO. Assessment and taxation departments' capitalization rates are further supported by comparison with real estate market reports from Colliers, CBRE National Research, and Cushman and Wakefield. The following chart compares assessment and taxation departments' capitalization rates by fitting ATD's rates into the property type categories used in these reports. ATD's property type classes are more comprehensive. They cover every property type in the city. The 20th and 80th percentiles show the range of capitalization rates used by the ATD for 60% of the parcels within the specific property type. In many cases, the published rates fall within the 20th percentiles, indicating the tenability of the capitalization rates derived by the ATD. So if we towards the second to the last rows, or multifamily, which says multifamily, the 20th to 80th percentile range for the cap rates are 4.8% to 5.6%. And on the next page, page 8, are the capitalization rate evidence. These are some of the sales. The following sales that took place during the reference period. The purpose of showing these capitalization rates is to illustrate the accuracy of the model and substantiate model-derived capitalization rates. They are not meant to be comparable specific to the subject property. Net operating income has been developed through stabilizing owner-reported income and expense information. Capitalization rates have been derived by dividing the property's net operating income by its sale price. I may go through them, Mr. Chair. The first one is located at 2390 McPhillips. It was sold on October 9, 2020. It sold for $19,400,000. It has 90 suites, effective year or year built of 2015, and effective age of 2015. And it has a cap rate of 4.70. The second one is located at 510 Burnell. It sold in September of 2020 for $2,813,000. It has 28 suites, a year built of 1969, and the same effective year. And it has a 4% cap rate. The third one is located at 700 St. Mary's. It was sold in April 2020 for about $1,035,000. It has 9 suites and an effective year and a effective age or effective year of 1961. It has a 3.6 capitalization rate. The next one is located at 203 Bertrand. As a sale, it was sold in June 2019 for $925,000. It has 9 suites, an effective year and year built of 1963, and a cap rate of 4.77%. Next sale is located at 555 Corridon. It was sold in November 2018 for about $1,575,000. It has 16 suites, an effective year and year built of 1955, and it has a cap rate of 5.74%. The next one is located at 677 Maryland. It's sold in December 2020 for $2.4 million. It has 32 suites, a year built of 1913, and an effective age of 1972. It has a cap rate of 5.5%. And last sale is located at 32 Arden. As a sale, it was sold in March 2019 for about $2.8 or $2,875,000 with 23 suites, a year built of 1969, and an effective age of 1984. It has a cap rate of 5.05%. On pages 9 to 12 is where the 2020 income and expense information for the subject property. And that's my presentation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Henry, any questions? Oh, he's muted.
You're muted, Henry.
I'm back now.
Yes,
I can hear you.
Okay, your cap rates, your page 8. Subject built 1909. So would you agree that none of your comparables are comparable to this property, subject property?
As I have mentioned in the blurb earlier, Mr. Chair, it's not really, these sales are not really meant to be comparables specific to the subject property. However, to answer the question of Mr. DuPont, the closest one is located at 6 Maryland, which has a 1913 year built. However, this specific sale or property has an effective age of 1972. So in terms of effective age, none is close to 1909, Mr. Chair.
thank you.
Some hundred St. Mary's has a very low cap rate. Would you agree that this property needed renovations and it was bought with the intention to renovate?
I have no information with regard to that one and any intention of the buyer. I have no information, so I wouldn't be able to speak to it, Mr. Chair.
Have you investigated the actual repair and maintenance for that property for the 3 years leading up to the sale as to what level it was?
No, I wasn't able to.
So would you agree that they had very low repair and maintenance? You don't know how you stabilize that or whether it did in fact have low repair and maintenance?
I am not certain with regard to that information.
We have a cap rate on 677 Maryland and 32 Arden. We have higher cap rates than you. Do you know how you arrive at your cap rates?
I believe the process in terms of arriving at the cap rates for these sales are the NOIs and sale price on these ones.
Do you know how you stabilize, or do you have an income approach to show the board?
No, I didn't attach it.
So none of your comparables here you can attest to how they were derived.
The income and expense information for the sales price or the sales comparables aren't included in the brief, Mr. Chair.
Page 7, multi family cap rate on the table shows the assessor first. So for low rise, you're 4.8 to 5.6. And the Colliers, the next one is 5 to 6. So your low end and your high end are both lower than the Colliers. You would agree with that?
Based on that, yes.
and be the same for the last one, which would be Cushman. It would be lower. Your cap
Yes,
rates,
that's
the
correct.
low and high, and the low rise A, which is for CBRE, which they break it down to low rise A and B. There again, you're much lower than Cushman for the high and for the low and high.
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Chair. And if I may add, the properties that I don't have the information regarding how many properties were calculated or were included or the external sources. However, these are reported online, so we have no information on how many properties really were in there, even by the external sources. So yes, we may be on the lower range. However, if we're going to look at the others as well, I mean, they are not that far off, I would say.
You have nothing here about the low rise pre-1945 for what you're allowing. Would you agree that you allow usually 6 to 6.5 for these older properties?
I am not sure about the question.
Well, I may just interject there, Henry, that information isn't in his brief.
No.
I know it's not. I'm just asking verbally if you can answer to that. Whether he's aware that other older apartments are most of the time assessed with cap rates higher than 5.9% given to the subject today.
I cannot answer the question, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry.
Just hold on for a minute. When you mentioned other apartments assessed, we're not here to compare assessments, Henry.
No, we're here to, he says it's their model, and their model actually indicates higher cap rates for the same age as the subject. So it's the 5.9 is even lower than the normal model. And I'm just wondering whether he knows why.
I have no information on as to why, and if there are even other cap rates out there for 19 or pre-1945. I don't have that information with me right now.
Do you know what the cap rate was for this apartment for 2020?
That's not relevant. We're here to deal with this property and the information we have submitted today by both parties, not what happened in 2020.
Yeah, it's still evidence, and if you disregard that evidence, it's up to you. But I think it's very relevant that the assessor is changing their cap rates and they're going lower than before. There should be a reason also. If you don't want to hear that, that's fine also. It will come up at other hearings. Will come up if we go to municipal board. That's relevant information. Past assessment is the assessor's main negotiating tactic when you go to municipal board. They always bring up the past assessment. So I could see the board maybe wants to save time, but it's still relevant information, in my opinion. But you have a right to disallow it. Thank you.
Any other questions of Ryan?
So for both the apartment and retail, that's not site specific, it's all based on model for the income and expense.
Income valuation, yes. They're all model driven or model parameters.
Okay, so the rentable area that you have for the commercial, it's much higher than what we have. It's higher than what the INEs were, what the owner reported. But you know why you have higher rentable areas?
We may have to check on that one, Mr. Chair.
Do you know what area you used for 2020 or 2018? Do you know if you changed your areas?
No, I don't have that information, so I wouldn't know.
It's all questions.
Thank you very much. Bob, do you have any questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Valderrama, I'm looking on page 6, pardon me. Page 6, yes. Your comparable leases. I'm wondering, you did state that 3 of the net rents were
Yes.
blank. Do you have access to filling in those numbers?
Not at this moment, no. Not that quick, Mr. Chair, and I apologize on that one.
Okay, thank you. Then I'm looking at the view of the subject property on, page, where are we? Their aerial view of the subject property on page 3. And just to confirm that parking lot does belong to the subject property on the south side of the building?
Yes, based on the map of the subject property, yes, it belongs to the property.
Okay, and in the income and expense statement, they are declaring, I believe, 21 spaces there. Would you have any information on whether that's used for the retail leases or the tenants, or is it a blend of both? Or
I have no information, sir, with regard to who or which portion of the property uses the 21 outdoor parking stalls.
okay, and the sign on the top of the building, again on page 3, is there any income attributed to that, or do you include that in the assessed value? The billboard, I mean?
Let me just double check on that one. I believe there may have, based on my page 5, there's the retail section. There are 3 premises. I'm not certain if the billboard is there. Sorry, no, there's nothing on my page 5 that's attributed to the billboard sign.
Okay, thank you. And
you.
regarding the retail space, the leases, are those on the main floor, all 3 units, or are there some on the second floor? Would you have any knowledge of that?
Based on, I passed by this on my personal time. So based on what I see from the outside, they're on the main floor. However, I am not 100% sure if there are some on the second floor.
Okay. And on page 4, related to the workup on the retail portion, that's, vacancy rate of 6% attributed to the class code 60 taxable. That is model driven. Is that what you stated?
Yes, sir. It is a model parameter.
Okay. And my last question is, what would be the blended capitalization rate on this property? Would you have that available, please?
I could just quickly calculate it. If I may, I'm just going to use my calculator here.
Thank you.
Okay, let me just. It's about 6.32%, Mr. Chair.
6.3%?
6.32%. Yes, rounded 6.3.
Okay.
Rounded down.
Thank you very much. That's all my questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Ian, any
you, sir.
questions?
Yes, I do, Mr. Boardroom. I'm going to direct you to page 4 of your brief income value summary. The rentals for both the apartment and the retail, are those taken from actuals, or are those modeled based on comparables?
These are all model derived parameters, Mr. Chair.
And those parameters are those derived from the comparables that appear on page 6 of your brief?
Not necessarily, Mr. Chair. Those comparables are shown or included in my brief to show that there may be or that the model parameter, model derived rent per unit is within the bulk out there in the market.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you very much. Those are my questions.
Thank you,
And
sir.
I have no questions. Thank you. Henry, you can start with your presentation. Just give us a second to get to it. Bob, have you got to the Henry's presentation?
I do. Yes, thank you.
And Ian, you're there?
Yep, I've got it. Thanks.
Okay, Henry, you can proceed.
Okay, so I got to rotate. Okay, so page 1. Shows the assessments. We're looking for a reduction, both residential and commercial. Then we have the photos. The next one. And then we can skip some of the assumptions and the intended user and we can go page 8. So we have the same aerial photos, the subject, so there's parking in the back. Then we show the Google map, shows where it is. Then we can show after that, page 11, the assessor's burden proof, and there should be a site-specific evaluation. That should not be based on models. So then on page 14, we have the start of the cap rate. So the assessor is using 5.9%, and we dispute that. We're using 6.1 based on a cap rate study. And then the table below that shows the cap rates we use, 6.1 to 6.6 for that age group and the other age group. So shown there, it goes on a declining basis depending on age. After that, we have the tax calculation. So we show the 2020, because the income approach, we have to break down the taxes for residential and a commercial. So we calculated it. So the 2020 assessment was not appealed. They had 2,119 for the residential. We calculate the taxes, we come to 26,867. For the water and sewer rates, we use the percentage of the total assessment to allocate that. So this is a small numbers to allocate, but we do that by a percentage of assessment. So we calculate the commercial taxes also there, 6,453. So before I forget, we appeal the classification liability to taxation. That was mainly because one of the tenants is West Broadway Ute. And their website indicates it's an outreach to the young people to help them with their classes and homework, etc. So there was some email exchange with the owner saying they did have some or part of their premises used for learning. And I asked for more details, map, square footage, and I did not get that. So therefore, we appeal that. We know there is something there, but we don't have the full information. So for now, I would ask that the board confirm the liability because we don't have enough information. But there is something there to be looked at. So back to page 16, the income approach.
Just so if we understand you, so are you withdrawing liability and classification?
No, I'm not. I will likely appeal to the municipal board. I do know that they do have parts of their premises used for learning, but I don't know what percentage to give to the board. So I don't see the board being able to change part of the classification to be school exempt because you don't have enough information. So I will appeal to the municipal board that part. Hopefully the values are we're okay, and I appeal only classification liability. But we'll get more information on that for the municipal board.
Okay, thank you.
So the page 16, G income approach for the residential portion. You can see there at the 5 years, 16 to 2020, 2017 to 2019. We have more details on the rents, etc. 2020 financial statements came out. An accountant's financial statement, and it starts at line 13, had rental information. So it had a lot less breakdown. So nevertheless, we show the years with the breakdown and those without. So we stabilize at 378,575, which is 3,000 more than the assessor. The effective gross income for 2019 was 352. So basically no dispute on the residential income. Then the expenses we stabilize at a normal basis. So the insurance, utilities, caretaking, we usually go with the last year with 2020. Management fee, we usually go 5%. The items that tend to go up or down, like the professional fees and office, etc., we use it 3 years. Repair minutes will be stabilizing specifically. Taxes, we calculated the taxes. So atop the page, you'll see the areas. Gross for areas is 54,282. The commercial rentable is 6692 square feet. So it's 12.3% of the total area. So we stabilize some of the expenses by allocating 12.3% to the commercial, and therefore it's 87.7% for the residential. So for the insurance, we go 2020 times 87.7%. And then the professional fees, office, line 16, 17 is 3-year average times 87.7. The hydro, commercial pays directly, so therefore all the hydro goes to the apartment. Gas and water, we allocate 87.7% for residential. Waste and snow, we allocate 89.7% for the residential, so it's the same as the other allocations. Caretaking is actually 100% for the apartment. So the next page is the repair maintenance. So page 17, we have to break down the repair maintenance. So the top 4 items, external repairs, roof, hot water tank, those are normally different, and they may be capital improvements. Roof, if you fix the roof, it's usually allowed. If you replace the roof, it's not. So small amounts are allowed. So in this case, we allow roof at the 5-year average, which is $800. Hot water tank is none. Security, we allow the 5-year average. Oh, sorry, we stabilize 0. The 5-year average is shown, but then we stabilize at 0. Windows and doors, we allow the 5-year average 3513. And parking lot, we allow the 5-year average is 58. So the far right, we have maximums which we establish. Naturally, they have to replace the flooring, but if they replace a lot of floorings in the 1 year or 2 and they go beyond the normal, usually it's based on the 8-year life. We have the cost of the flooring replacement and appliance replacements. We've calculated maximum. So in this case, the flooring, the 5 years is 253, which is below the maximum. It's half. So the appliance is very low. It's only $39 per suite versus $225 maximum. Painting we allow at the average, excluding 2016. So in red is the years we exclude. You can see the painting is very high in 2016 versus the other year. If we go down the same lines at 2016, electrical, plumbing, and the HVAC were also high that year. we disallowed that. For 2019, we disallowed the plumbing, which is higher. And building exterior, we disallowed it for 2018. So that gives us our stabilized. And other comments, the last two lines. Commercial leases were signed in 2013, 2016, 2019. So normally commercial, the landlord does nothing in a suite once it's rented. The tenants do their own in-suite repair and maintenance. They tend to do all their repair and maintenance is at the time they signed the lease. So 2016, when they signed some of the leases, they had some high repair and maintenance items, and that's we disallowed for those. And then in 2019, we disallowed the plumbing for that year. So that takes into account the commercial R&M. So then our total stabilized R&M is 81,000, which is 1977 per suite. And that's what we bring out to the prior page, 87075. So page 16, our NOI is 127,943 divided by 6.1 cap rate, gives you a value of 2,097,000. So then we can go to page 19. These are commercial leases. So we showed Winnipeg School Division 2390 square feet, Hakim 2234, and West Broadway at 268, 6692. We'll have to go to the rent rolls, INEs, because the assessor has higher income or area, sorry. So we'll have to go to that more carefully. At the bottom of the page, the last three lines, we show what the 23 assessment the assessor has. 7954 is the area. The rent per square foot is 813. We have a rent at 989, so we're higher than the assessor for rent. We have the same vacancy as the assessor, 6%. Same shortfall as the assessor, and the same cap rate. So basically, the main difference is the rentable area, because we either higher rent or the same parameters as the assessor. We show the 2018 original, some of the four the assessor had. 2020 we don't show because there was no appeal. So we'll go to the appendix now. So the first appendix is the assessor's income approach. So then we're going to rotate. So the first questionnaire is 2020. And it shows the what I have. So there shows the income, rental income was 467. They don't give a breakdown. But the next page, they give you the rent roll. And there shows school division 1950 square feet. That's right in the middle of the column. West Broadway U 2068 and Hakim 2234 square feet. And then expenses just included in rent, so they're all gross rents. Then you skip a page, and then they have a computerized rent roll also, not just a handwritten part, and they have the same square footage there. And this is also for 2020, so that's the rent roll for 2020 is stated twice. Then we have the rent roll for the residential. We have the COVID questionnaire. Then we have the 2019 questionnaire. And that one, if you go to the rent roll for the commercial, it shows again the three tenants, exactly the same areas. So it's part of the dispute, the assessor's area. We don't know where the assessor got their area. Now, if we go further in that 2019, the revenue and expense are now the computerized type. It's broken down. So we have a lot more detail for the revenues and the repair and maintenance. And the red notes are our notes, and it shows how we categorize. So they'll show their expenses as to where we put that. We put that under HVAC or countertops or plumbing, etc. So it shows the how we put that onto our repair and maintenance sheet. I believe I have some other. We have the 2018 rent roll, again, computerized for the 3 commercial tenants, and it shows exactly the same area again. And then it had written questionnaire for the rent roll for 2018 is the same rentable areas again. If I remember correctly, I think the assessor was adding some of the corridors that they found in there, but it was certainly not from the rent rolls that were provided by the owners as to why they had the higher square footage. So we also have the 2017 questionnaires with the same commercial rent roll. It's actually a bit lower square footage there. West Broadway was 1,700 square feet, I noticed. So they changed slightly, but never at the assessor's level. And we have the detailed repair and maintenance for these years also. And I'll go to the end. The last 2 pages that we appeal the classification liability, it's where we show that. So that there again, we don't have enough proof. We know they do some parts for their learning, but we don't have the exact area. So we can't give the board enough information in that regards. So our cap rate study should be next that we'd like to present. So does everybody have my cap rate study yet?
Not quite yet. Everybody got it?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, we have it.
Okay. We'll show the market reports by Colliers, CBRE, Cushman. Basically, same information as the assessor. We compare 2018 to 2021. We'll show the change. So Colliers, they said no change for low rise. CBRE went down 0.25% for the low rising, etc. So they see no change or small increase a quarter. Then we show interest rates, etc. We say that the cap rates would be influenced by building amenities like in-suite laundry, balconies, walk-up access, office space, business, gyms, etc. Age naturally. We show the meets the vacancy rate by suite mix. Shows our cap rates for 2020, 2022, the prior years that we had. And then we settled 2020 cap rates on page 5. For municipal board, we settled at those rates. So we settled this age group at 6.1 to 6.6. And the rest of our cap rates, we settled 5 3/4 down to 5 1/4. The assessor, if you look at the third column, had some low ones at 4.6, 4.2. That was usually for smaller suites. Or when it came to settle the municipal board, they gave up on their size, the low cap rates for their size. Then next page, we have 4 cap rates. So we have Victor, first one, built 1914. And that one has a 6.85 cap rate. So it supports our cap rate that we're using. 677 Maryland, we have 5.66. 1913, but renovated, so it's 1972 effective age. At 32 Arden, 5.36, also the assessor cap rate. We'll show how we arrive at ours. The assessor doesn't, then the other one, 555 Cronin, 5.73. So then we'll get to the way we arrive at those cap rates. Now the next table, page 7, it shows what our cap rates are. So for this age group, we go 6.1, 6.66, and then we go 5.75 down to 5.25 for the other ages. We show site-specific adjustments to be done for all these other factors, age, condition, parking, suite mix, etc. Now we show a cap rate samples by the assessor. So these are properties, and the assessor is a bit erratic in their cap rates. They go all over the place. So the first one, built 1911, 2023 cap rate is 5.15. The same cap rate for that property was 6.6. They went down 1.45. The next one, 23, cap rate for say 5.7, previously 6.6. If you go down the list, the next one, 5.7, 5.85, 6.65, same age group. The 505, 510, 5.7, 6.7. It varies quite a bit. In 2020, they were settled, 6.1 to higher. The one that was settled 7.1 would have a location adjustment on top of that. So we can leave that particular table. I'm looking for our next table. Page 41 is our income approach for our cap rate.
Page 41.
Yes.
Okay, just give us a sec.
That's Victor Street.
Yes.
Use that and explore. Same thing.
All right. So this one, our main evidence we have is a pro forma. And the pro forma did not allow for vacancy. So we allowed 7.5% vacancy. That's a pro forma, which is the October 2020 CMHC. So then we've allowed the insurance, the hydro water, same as the pro forma. Repair maintenance, we allowed 7,000. We allowed 14,000, 1,000 per suite. And we allowed the same tax in caretaking. So that comes to 6.85 cap rate. The MLS data on the remarks that the roof was redone 2013, boiler in 2011. So it's an older property, but the two main items that are very difficult for owners are the roof and boilers, and those were redone. And windows and plumbing were updated. Units were remodeled, it says, new kitchen, bathrooms, and doors. And then we have the photo. Then we have the pro forma showing and the MLS data showing for that. The page 45 is 555 Corden. So the sale date shown there in November 2018. We have 2013 data, 2016, 2017. So we took the November 26, 2018 rent roll just at the time of sale. We multiplied by 12, and that's what we stabilized at. So we had the current rent roll at the time. we allowed the discounts on that rent roll. And we allowed 2.8% vacancy, which is the same as CMHC, but the rent roll shows 0%. So then we allowed the laundry and parking, insurance and actual, management 5%, other and office very small, advertising 2-year average or average. Utilities, we went with the actuals. As we normally do, repair maintenance, we went with the average. That 21 and 24, so we went with an average of those 2 years. Prior year, 2013 was much lower. And we allowed the actual taxes. So the cap rate comes to 5.73 for that one. After that, we have the Google map. Then the rent roll charges, that's what we use. You see on top of the rent roll has a date, November 26, 2018. We multiplied that by 12. Same as the discounts I have at the bottom, page 49. Then add the revenues and expense in the following pages. And then the next page, page 54, 677 Maryland. So it shows a date on top left, December 2020. We showed it 3 years, financials, 4 years actually, but 2016. Now we stabilize line 3 at the actual 2019. We stabilize at 5.6% vacancy. That's in October 2020 CMHC. Laundry and parking at the 2019 level. So is miscellaneous. Insurance at 2019, management 5%. We use the average for professional office. Utilities, the actual 2019. Same for waste and snow. Repair and maintenance, we stabilize at 885. It shows the 4 years there. So we stabilize, I believe it's a 4-year average. Caretaking at actual, taxes at actual. So it comes from 5.66% cap rate. It's slightly different than the assessor, we're a bit higher, but we show how we arrived at it. Then we have the background information, backup information for that property, which is the MLS listings, the questionnaires that we have on that for all the years. So the next property is 32 Arden, page 63. And it's sold 2019. We have the questionnaires of revenue expense for 16, 17, 18. So we take the stabilized revenues at December 2020 and 2018. Rent roll times 12, because it's sold March 2019. So we're slightly higher revenue than the actual 2018. Well, CMHC vacancy. Then we allow laundry and parking, or allow the parking, miscellaneous. So our line 13 is slightly higher than 2018. Then we stabilize insurance, utilities at actuals, management 5%, professional fees at average 2016, 2018. The middle one is high. We exclude that one. Office is small, average, advertising average. Waste and snow average. Repair maintenance, the average 3 years, and the actual taxes. That comes from 5.36% cap rate. Then we have the photos and the backup data, the rent rolls and the revenue and expense. That would be my cap rate report, and that would be my report in total.
Okay, that concludes your report. Ryan, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have questions, Mr. Chairman.
And let us know which report you're referring to.
Yes, on the cap rate analysis, I want to start there since I think we're still there on that file. On page 6, 535 Victor Street, I noticed that the sale date is June 2nd, 2021. Is that that seems, would it be correct to say that it is a post-reference sale?
No, we've established that the sale was signed before the valuation date, reference date, April 1st, 2021.
However,
So the offer of purchase was signed before. So it's when the meeting of the minds occurred, it occurred within the reference date.
however, the sale date that was registered is still June 2nd, 2021, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
And the sale
And,
price says on the note was finalized in December 2020. So actually 4 months or 3 months before the reference date.
and page 5 at the bottom of the page, it was mentioned comparison to previous cycle 2020 to 2022. Wouldn't that be in terms of cycle?
What's the question?
Would that be because it says comparison to previous cycle? So would this be referring to assessment cycle? 2020 to 2022?
Yes, yeah.
So basically, all these parameters or cap rates are all assessments, previous assessments. Would that be safe to say?
No, they're not previous assessments. They're the cap rates that were used by the assessor, the cap rates used by Altus, and what we finally settled on municipal board for all the appeals we had outstanding.
Okay, so there was
So,
a settlement at the municipal board case management on this one.
The last column shows the final settled 2020 good location. That's a municipal board settlement.
Right.
So
And any would it be I'm just wondering, these settlements, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but these settlements, I believe, were done in, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
they were done what?
These were all settlements, and these were all in terms of in confidence, back closed door meetings and all that, and there was and it was.
But again, you're looking at a comparison of assessments, right?
Right, that's correct too, and yeah, that's right, Mr.
No,
Chair.
but all the settlement COAs that we signed would show cap rates, and those are all public information. So the assessor and Altus agreed to those cap rates for those age groups for 2020. The cap rate was a big issue for 2020 at the Board of Revision. We appealed a whole bunch of municipal board, and we went over each other's data, and we came to the settlement. That getting a settlement for cap rates is always a major affair. It takes months and months to get, and this is what we settled at.
With all due respect, I think that this doesn't provide much information about previous agreements, and I think we should focus on subject property, not what other properties were settled.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, if I may proceed
Otherwise,
again.
we'll never get through today.
Okay, on page 6, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to ask a question. If these sales are these sales comparable to the subject property?
The one that's comparable is 535 Victor, because built 1914. The other ones are newer.
Okay, and the way the income was derived, how much was the average R&M on that one? If
I'd have to go
I'll
back
just,
to
I'm gonna go back to it as well. Sorry,
page 40 something.
41, correct? Is that right? Yeah, page 41. So the stabilized R&M is $1,000 per suite. That's the stabilized, correct? And
Yes.
and if we compare that to the subject property has how much R&M? 2,000, if I'm not mistaken.
1900
average?
something. Yeah.
Yeah, around under 2,000, correct?
Yes.
So the subject property is more maintained, I would say, in terms of the R&M. Is that correct to say?
We go site-specific repair maintenance on all properties. We don't try to bring R&M from one property to the next. They're all different. So
And that's all the questions I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. And Bob, do you have any questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Dupont, I'm looking at your brief on page 16
Just let us get to it.
for the class code 20 calculation workup.
okay, I got it.
Okay, I'm looking at line 33, the net operating income summary between yourself and the city assessment. And I'm looking at the average of the 3 years filed for income and expense statements of 175,118. Can you reconcile how you adjust the number you're using to 127,900 or $50,000 less than the average?
The average, the actuals include the commercial. So we like the taxes will be including commercial, etc. So the actuals, the total should not be relied upon. We're stabilizing line by line.
Okay. And you're using the total capitalized at 6.1% to come up with your class code 20 valuation of $2,097,000.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. And my next question would be the next line, the cap rates. The assessor's at 5.9%. And you're at 6.1. So we're 0.2% difference in cap. So basically, you're nearly accepting the assessor's cap rate on the class code 20 portion. Would that be accurate?
We're close. A 0.25% makes a big difference.
Okay.
There's a lot of appeals in municipal board were settled for a 0.25% cap rate, so that it's worthwhile. The 2%, 0.2%.
Well, it's actually 1/5, but it's 1/5 of a percentage, 0.2. Okay.
Yeah.
And my next question is page 19 of that same summary or that brief, and that's the class code 60 calculation. Just to confirm, you are accepting the assessor's cap rate at 8%?
Yes.
Okay. And the discrepancy would be in the square footage of the leased area.
That's right, because we actually have higher rents in the assessor.
Okay. Now, what would be
higher rents per square foot? Sorry, yeah, per square foot. Yeah.
But less square footage assessed for?
Yes.
Okay. So we're talking a difference of about 1,200 square feet here. And I think you made a comment regarding that the assessor might be using hallway space included in their measurement. Did I misunderstand?
Yeah, it seems to me that that's what happened in the past, but I'm just thinking of something because the actual rent rolls show what we show. I have no idea why the assessor would be higher than what the
Okay,
questionnaires indicate.
okay. And Mike, I guess my last question would be, have you confirmed that square footage, or would you include any access hallways or anything into the resident, or pardon me, the commercial area as considered a calculation of retail leases?
No, I would not include any hallways, etc., and elevators, because they serve the residential areas also on top. So if the assessor's saying the main floor plan, they say, oh, it should be higher. Well, a part of that is to serve the residents, and for commercial, they don't charge for the corridors, the vertical penetration, stairways, etc. We go with the leases.
Okay,
So whatever the leases indicate is what we should go with.
okay. Thank you for that. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all my questions, Mr. Dupont.
Thank you. Ian?
Yes, direct you to page 7 of your CAP study, Mr. Dupont. Do you have that?
I'm getting to it. Just hold on. Got it.
Okay, I'm looking at 2023 sale price per suite. Your pre-1946, 17 sales, all found in Appendix E. The average being $74,237 per suite. You see that column?
Yes.
Okay, that average that you've outlined for us there or presented to us there is a way of, you'd agree with me, is a way of looking at the overall valuation of an apartment?
Yeah, that's more of a background data because we're not doing direct comparison
Oh, I know.
approach. But yeah, we show that as background data. Yeah.
Okay, and you'd agree with me that that's about $2,000 higher than the market value per suite is presented by the assessor. I think he was at $72,585. So it's, now we're up. Sorry, I'll start again. That average that you've got is about $1,800 higher.
Oh, we're still live.
$1,800 higher than what appears in the assessor's brief of the market value per suite. Do you agree with that assessment?
2975, the assessor divided by 4172. Yeah. So the assessor is 72. Yeah.
Okay, and that's that amount that the assessor has calculated value per suite is the assessed value essentially divided by the number of suites.
But
right?
the median is 62,000, so that's a big difference.
But that was the average. Thanks.
I know, and the subject rents are $769 per suite to line 13, so it has relatively low rents.
Mm-hmm.
So every property will sell based on its site specifics.
Okay.
I would not give any weight to that. It's we show that bit of a background, but would never rely on that to establish a value of a particular property.
Okay, so that bit of information in your brief is just irrelevant background information. Am I correct in that assumption?
Yes, you should not. Nobody should rely on the average or mediums to come to a value for a subject. That to me, that's not reasonable to do. Because we'll come with some properties which will be higher than the average or medium, and you're not going to give us a value down to the average. Some are higher, some are lower.
Exactly. Thank you. I have nothing further.
And I have no questions. So that concludes the first property, 644 Portage. And the next one on the docket is 267 Sherbrooke. Any preliminary issues on this one? And Ryan, you can start with your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next property has a file number of 22-2502. It has a roll number of 12090575-800. It is located at 267 Sherbrooke Street. We're dealing with the roll year of 2023, and we're using April 1st, 2021 as the reference date. The property has two assessments or split assessment. The first assessment has a value of $12,254,000, has a classification of residential 2 and a liability of taxable. And the second assessment has a value of $1,039,000. Its classification is other property and liability of fully taxable. The property is the residential apartments multi-use. It has 2 buildings, 6 stories, actual year built and effective year built of 2019. It has 71 suites, 35 indoor parking, and 16 outdoor parking. It has a land area of 18,488 square feet, a planned area of 10,647 square feet, and a gross floor area of 63,884 square feet.
1 second here. Did we lose you? Is it on our end? Are you guys cutting out at all, or?
I can
No.
hear you.
No,
I can hear everyone.
So it must be the TV.
And if I may continue, Mr. Chair.
Just hang on for a minute.
Oh, hang on. Okay.
I don't know how to fix that outside of moving rooms. Because if it's the TV that's flicking on and off, there's no,
So we would have to go to,
we would have to move to Boardroom B.
okay, we're gonna take a 10-minute recess just to see what this technical problem is. Seems to be at our end.
Sounds good, Mr. Chair.
Okay, let's see what. I apologize for that inconvenience. Now, we're gonna stay in this boardroom and continue with the hearing. Maybe we're not. The TV seems to be going off and on at its own will. It's a slight, like a second delay in when you're speaking. So I may have to ask you to repeat something if it does shut off, and if it gets worse, then we'll have to move.
oh, okay.
Everybody okay with that? Apparently it's a known problem to this TV for some reason. Anyway, let us reconvene the hearing, and the property is 267 Sherbrooke. And Ryan, you can continue with your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We move to page 3 of my presentation. I do have a couple of photos of the subject property on page 3. And on page 4 is where the income valuation summary for the multifamily and the commercial side. I'll start with the multifamily. It has a gross potential rent of $1,034,805, vacancy rate of 3.2%, or in terms of dollars, it's $33,114, and no other income, which leads to effective gross income of $1,001,691, with an expense ratio of 41.89%, or $419,608. The net operating income is $582,083. Using the capitalization rate of 4.75%, the capitalized income is $12,254,379, or $12,254,000 rounded. For the commercial side, the gross potential rent is $66,345, vacancy rate of 6%, or in terms of dollars, $1,981, which leads to an effective gross income of $62,364. Given the shortfall rate of $8 per square foot, or $1,772, and an expense rate of 3%, or $1,871, the net operating income for the commercial side is $58,721. Rate of 5.65%. The capitalized income is $1,039,310, or $1,039,000 rounded. On page 6, I have the rent comparables for the multifamily. There are 4. The first one is located at 616 Strathcona Street. Its average monthly rent per unit is $1,864. The second one is located at 812 Wolseley. The average monthly rent per unit is $1,363. The third one is located at 200 Arlington Street. The average monthly rent per unit is $1,131. And the last one is located at 745 Wolseley Avenue. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $1,345. On the next page, page 7, are comparable leases for the commercial side. The first one is located at 490 Hargrave Street. It has a net rent per square foot of $16. The next one is located at 698 Corridon Avenue. It has a net rent per square foot of $17. Next one, again, another unit at 698 Corridon Avenue. The net rent is $14 per square foot. And the last one is located at 471 Warsaw Avenue. The net rent per square foot of $11.58 per square foot. Again, on page 8 is the capitalization rate chart.
And we can just
On
take
page
that,
9.
we can just
I'm
take
sorry.
that as previously read from the
Yes,
first file.
yes. I'm just gonna just say it's on the page. Page 9 is the capitalization rate evidence, and on pages 10 to 11, that's where the income and expense information for the subject property is, and that's my presentation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Henry, any questions?
No, you're not taking into account the actual vacancy in a subject for residential or commercial.
Just double check on the income valuation summary. Yes, these are all, no, these are all model derived vacancy rates.
And your cap rate 4.75 for the apartments, your cap rate evidence does not have anything specific to newer apartment buildings like this. Would you agree with that?
None, no.
And your cap rate on the commercial 5.65% is not a bit lower than what you have on your cap rates that they show at the market reports.
Yes, they are.
Much lower, you would agree. They're probably closer to 7%.
If you're referring to my page 8, as I mentioned earlier, it is only 60% of the stock in Winnipeg or the properties in Winnipeg. So there could be some cap rates or some properties that are this range. There's still 40%.
It's all questions.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
Bob, any questions?
Yes, thank you. Ryan, just one question. Where is this property located? Are we south of Portage Avenue or Broadway? I kind of figure out the exact location.
Question. 267 Sherbrooke, I believe, is
I have
if
in
I'm not
my
mistaken,
report.
this is north of Portage Avenue, if I'm not mistaken.
South.
Is it? Oh, south. Okay, there you go. I stand corrected, Mr. Chair.
Is it between Westminster and Broadway? Or is it between Broadway and Portage? Henry, can you answer?
Broadway and Portage. You're very close to 644 Portage that we had there.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I remember now. Okay.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ian, any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. Thanks.
And I don't have any questions. So Henry, you can start your presentation.
Page 1, for the commercial, we're asking for 12.2 to 10.1, or about close to 10.2. Commercial, big reduction from $1,039,000 to 304. That's mainly because of the big problems they had with vacancy. Now that the photos, next one's the photo, you see the main floor. That's for the commercial. It's a newer building, came up. And the map, I guess I have that further on. So page 16, it will give you the aerial photo, and then page 17 is the map. If you see that. So you see Portage Avenue is there, West Broadway Youth is shown as the Google map. There's McDonald's there at the corner. And on Maryland, the other side is Tim Hortons. So probably everybody's been to Tim Hortons or McDonald's in the area. So then the cap rates at page 22. So this age group, we have 5.25. And we start the income approach on page 23. But before we go through that, I'd like to go through the evidence because I don't do a spreadsheet like I do it normally because it's in your property. So instead, we should just go to the appendix. The appendix shows to start off, we settled 2020 municipal board, and I won't spend too much time on that. So the city position is shown on top, and then we settle. So we had settled the rent. We had settled at $14. We had settled vacancy at 25% for the commercial. We had settled the cap rate on the residential 5.25, and these are values we had come up with. There was an adjustment at that time, $105,000 for unfinished commercial area. That was part of the settlement. Then we start, we show the settlement that was signed. Then we can skip to that to, we have the sub as to when it came out. So there was assessed as of January 1st, 2020. For first time. So then the questionnaires I'm looking for. So it starts on page, oh, there's no page. So after the city data, you have to go scroll down. You'll find the first questionnaire. Part of the questionnaire will show the 3 tenants it has for the commercial. And then you'll see the revenue and expense for the the main page. First page shows the 1,044,786 for residential rents, potential rents. Then they have the computerized statements that you come from Ackman, the owner. So it shows rent vacancy 112,667. That's the actual as of December 2020. So after 1 year being out, finished, and then rent discounts of 80,000. So we'll be using that in our report. So go back to our report, page 23. So the first part it shows the city position, the 2 evaluation it has. So the vacancy for the residential 3.2, no discounts allowed, and commercial 6%. And rent 17.7. Then below that, we show Altus position for 2023. We show the municipal board settlement right beside it in red. So we had settled the commercial rents at $14. We used $14 again. For commercial, we use 1074. That's exactly from the financial statements for 2020. We use the actual discount of 80,000. And we use the actual vacancy of 112,667. We add the parking to it. Showing effective gross income is 919 for the residential. And the commercial, we had settled municipal board at 5.5%. That was because we thought it was just because it was lease up time and it would soon fill up, but it did not. So therefore, we're using now a higher vacancy of 25%. And then we go down the cap rate. We use some percent for the office, 5.25 for the apartment. The assessors got 5.65 cap rate for the commercial. We had settled last time at 6.15. However, it's not doing as well. So we're using 7% commercial cap rate for the commercial. We use the same adjustment, the adjustment for the unfinished commercial area. So it comes to 304,000. So it's lower than settlement that we had for 2020, mainly because higher vacancy. And we have a higher cap rate now also. The next report is a commercial, so I think I have to rotate this one. So the actual rents that they have in place there, the Winnipeg Trails, the net contract rent is $576 per square foot. So that's a temporary lease to just put somebody in there. So the rent roll shows on their rent roll notes. They had very low rent. And Winnipeg Architecture, small space, 597. They're actually paying only 101 per square foot. There again is just a temporary rent, just to month to month, just to have somebody in there. The rest are vacant. So they've been vacant ever since the finished construction in 2019. So we use the we do have the full table there. What we had previously was the summary, 25% vacancy, the shortfall shown in the recoverable expense cap rate, and it comes to value and the adjustment, same as 2020 for the unfinished. Comes 304, shows what the assessment is and what we had settled for the prior year. And for 2023, assessor does not have anything for a finish adjustment, which they had previously. That was my income approach. My report and the cap rate study. We went through that already.
So are you finished, Henry?
Yes, I'm finished. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Bob, do you have any questions?
Ryan? Did you say Ryan, Brent?
No, I have any questions of Henry.
Should be Ryan first.
Oh, sorry, it should be Ryan first. My mistake. Ryan, any questions?
It's okay, Mr. Chair. I have no questions, Mr. Chair.
There you go, Bob. You're up.
I couldn't quite hear you, Brent. Sorry. No, I have no questions. Thank you.
Ian.
I have a question about the commercial space. You referred to it on 2 occasions as unfinished commercial area. Is it the cosmetics that need to be finished, or are there actual construction structural work still to be completed in the commercial or the area allocated for commercial space?
And normally we have a new build like this, they have concrete floors, they don't finish the ceilings, they don't finish the walls. They're waiting for a tenant and they will do the TI specifically for a tenant. So some of the commercial properties that we had in appeals in the past, they especially would allow for unfinished commercial. They usually do something for shell space.
Henry, you're gonna have to move closer to the microphone.
Oh, or just have to
That's
put my
fair.
arm down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or normally the assessor allows unfinished adjustment when it's just shell space. So that's what it is, just a shell. Because they don't finish it until they have a tenant. And so they know what kind of finishing they want.
Okay, thank you. That's my only question.
And I don't have any questions, so that concludes 267 Sherbrooke. The next one on the docket is 167 Osborne, and there's no preliminary issues with this one. So Ryan, you can proceed with your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next property has a file number of 22-1566-1566. It has a roll number of 12-0216-75000. The property is located at 1 Osborne Street. We're dealing with the roll year of 2023, and we're using the reference date of April 1st, 2021. The property, the first one has an assessed value of $756,000. This classified as a residential 2 with the liability of fully taxable. The second assessment has an assessed value of $663,000. It is classified as an other property with a taxable. Excuse me. The property is a residential apartments multi-use. Has 2 buildings with 2 to 3 stories, an actual and effective year built of 1908. That's 7 suites, has a land area of 4,066 square feet, a planned area of 3,070, and a gross floor area of 11,560 square feet. On page 3 are the photos of the subject property. On the next page is the income valuation summary. Again, the property has split assessment. The first one is the apartment or the multi-family. It has a gross potential rent of $81,384, 0.2%. In terms of dollars, it is $3,418. Applying the vacancy to the gross potential rent, the effective gross income is $77,966. Using the expense ratio of 50.53% or $39,056, the net operating income is $38,570. Applying the capitalization rate of 5.10%, the capitalized income is $756,275 or $756,000 rounded. The next assessment for the retail or commercial section, the gross potential rent is $52,929. Vacancy rate of 6% even. In terms of dollars, it is $3,176. Giving it an effective gross income of $49,753. The shortfall rate is $7 per square foot, and the total shortfall is $1,173. It has an expense ratio of 3% or expense rate of 3%. In terms of dollars, $1,493. Giving it a net operating income of $47,087. Applying the capitalization rate of 7.10%, the capitalized income is $663,197 or $663,000 rounded. On page 6 are the rent comparables. The first one is located at 600 Macmillan Avenue. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $951. The next one is located at 119 Gerrard Street. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $1,001. The third one is located at 825 Corridon Avenue. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $974. And the fourth one is located at 708 Jesse Avenue, and it has an average of $990. On the next page, page 7, are the comparable leases. First one is located at 743. It has a net rent per square foot of $19.01. The second comparable lease is located at 433 River Avenue. It has a net rent per square foot of $16.70. The third one is located at 102 Osborne Street. It has a foot of $17. And the last one is located at 166 Osborne Street. That's a net rent per square foot of $18. Where the capitalization rate chart is, on top of page 9 is the capitalization rate evidence, or the sales. And at the bottom of page 9 is the start, or is where the 2020 income and expense information for the subject property. And that's my presentation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. And Henry, do you have any questions?
For the apartment rents, it appears you use the actual rents as of December 2020 for your market rent. Is that correct?
Based on the 2020 income and expense information, I wouldn't be able to know exactly, because it's not itemized on page 9 at the bottom. So I'm not sure if it is.
So this property built 1908.
Based on our files, on my page 1, it is.
It is not 1908, sorry. I thought you were still going to tell me something. Anyways, your cap rate is 5.1%, which is quite low for a property of this age. Would you agree that it's mainly because you give a big premium for the fact that it's a small number of suites or small amount of square footage, whatever it is, small size?
The capitalization rate of 5.10% is a model-derived cap rate, so it could be a mix of any a few parameters or a few characteristics. One of which is the size, location, location, size, age. Yeah, so I'm not. The model has derived 5.10%. However, those parameters may come into play, or characteristics.
Okay, that's all questions.
Thank you.
Bob, any questions?
Yes, thank you. Ryan, are we located in South Osborne Village, or what is the cross street? I can't determine that.
Yeah, it's not on my map. Should have made it a little bit bigger. I'm thinking it's where commercial part of the Osborne Village, I would say, probably around there. Osborne Village. I'm not sure what the
light
cross
on
street.
the corner there. So is that at Wardlaw and Osborne cross from?
I have it on my map. It's at Wardlaw, just
Wardlaw.
south of Stradbrook.
Okay, thank you. That's my only question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir.
Any questions?
No, thank you.
I have no questions. So Henry, you can start with your presentation.
Okay, on my page 1.
Wait a minute. There's a
Sorry.
issue on this one.
Henry hasn't presented for this.
Oh, right. No, go ahead, Henry.
Oh, okay. It shows page 1. We're asking for a big reduction on residential 2. And commercial, also asking for a reduction on both. The next page shows the photo. an older apartment and with some commercial in the front. And if you go to the map would be page 7 and 8. The aerial photo and 8. So it shows it. It's at board law. Now, I'd just like to go to the appendix first to give you an idea where I'm getting my data. So if you go to the appendix, I think it's not numbered, but after the assessor data with building details, you have the 2020 questionnaire, the handwritten part. It shows the rents on the first page. Then it shows the tenants, the 3 tenants it has, and the rents. Then the questionnaire for 2020, similar to another one that they have very little detail. They had the revenue, all revenue, and then expenses. But then the 2019 is very detailed. So after that questionnaire, there's the rent roll. You'll see 6782 for the suites, and that's what we use times 12 for our rent roll, and that's what the assessor has also. So we agree on that. Then the Sussex shows the computerized rent roll for the commercial, and then if you scroll down, you'll see a 2019 questionnaire. So the 2019 questionnaire, it's a bit clearer. It'll show the handwritten part. It shows the 3 tenants, but then it'll show the 2019 revenue and expense, and it's a lot more detail. So now it shows residential rent reduction, rent discounts, etc. As a commercial-based rent, that has realty tax. So that's the recovery. So they recover the taxes $5,032. So that's where I get my information to show what they recovered from the tenants. And then we show the repair and maintenance. We have the red notes to show on which category we put that repair and maintenance. So we have the same information for 2018, etc. So if we go back to main report, the first spreadsheet, actually page 14, we do the tax calculation. So the 2020 was settled at the Board of Revision by 15-1, shows the amount settled for residential 20, 399,400 multiplied by the mill rates, etc. We get taxes 5,105, and the commercial shows the settlement with 524 multiplied by mill rates, etc. We get the taxes 12,642 for the commercial. So then the next page 15, is our income approach. And I have to rotate. So the top right shows the equipment. All here today are mixed residential commercials. We have to allocate for commercial all these financial statements. So the share by area for the Mayflower commercial is 25 to 75% for residential. So the potential market rents, we use the rent roll times 12. That happens to be exactly the same as the assessor. So we use their vacancy rate also. And there's no laundry or parking income from the financials, so that we don't use any. So we have the same EGI as the assessor, 79966. The whole right column, we have the commercial share. So it shows that the financial statements indicated they had rent for commercial. 2019, 53,100. The 20 in the second last column, the December 2020 rent roll times 12 is also the same. That's what we stabilize at. Then the commercial tax recovery 5032, we show that in the commercial section. Insurance, we stabilized at 2020 times 75% for residential. Then the last column, that's 25% for the commercial. The management 5%. none for the commercial. Then the professional fees and sundry, we give it all to the residential. Hydro or advertising is 3 hours for the all for the residential. Same for utilities. We give it all to the residential, so there's no expenses for the commercial there. Waste and snow, we give 75%, 2018, 2020 average, 75 for residential, 25 for commercial. We pay maintenance. We show stabilize. We go less. You can see all these years. 13, 26, 16. We go 13, 999 stabilize, and we give 12, 15 for the commercial. And taxes are calculated. So we have for commercial, we have the total expenses before management, before other charges. So that calculates a net rent. So we use 6.1% cap rate for the residential. We get the value 387, which I believe is in line for the 2020. Commercial, page 17. So all the expenses we had on the residential is now shown here. So the non-recovered is 390. That's what we allow off the leases. So they're 18 gross, and the net is 1410. So we get the vacancy 6% parameters. We enter a miscellaneous 2600, which I believe is a sign. We use 7.1% cap rate, so we get the value of 512. We showed the 2020 was 524, 2018 475. So at the municipal board. So that's my report. I finished. Yeah.
Thank you. And Ryan, any questions?
Questions, Mr. Chair.
What was that? Because you were off.
Oh, sorry. No questions, Mr. Chair.
No questions? Bob, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Ian?
No questions. Thank you.
And I have no questions. Yeah, I see that. So the next property, just let me get there. Is 620 Ellis Avenue. And I understand there's a preliminary issue. Ryan, is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Due to the non-receipt of the income and expense mailer.
Okay, why don't you read the record in and basically page 1 of your brief.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay,
And
sounds good, Mr. Chair.
Let us know what occurred.
Okay. So the next property has a file number of 22-988. It has a roll number of 13041008500. It is located at 620 Ellis Avenue. We're dealing with the roll year of 2023, first date of April 1st, 2021. Property has split assessment. First assessment is valued at $401,000 there, and the liability of taxable. And the next assessment has a value of $3,075,000, the classification of residential 2, and a liability of taxable. The property is a residential apartment multi-use with 1 building, 3 stories, actual year built of 1909 and an effective year built of 1964. It has 39 suites and 20 outdoor parking. Has a land area of 13,337 square feet, a planned area of 6,300 square feet, a gross floor area of 25,200 square feet. So on the bottom of my page 1, I am requesting for that the burden of proof be placed on the applicant for non-cooperation, section 53(3)(b) of the Municipal Assessment Act, and if a reduction in assessment is ordered, that it follow section 54 of the Municipal Assessment Act. There were no on my page. Hang on 1 second. Page 10, starting from page 10. These are the blank supporting docket or blank INEs that I have attached. And then on page 13, it indicated that it was delivered on June 15th. And on page another document showing that was delivered, however, signature unavailable or not requested. And then it was a scanned delivery date, signature of the receipt did not appear in the document. So, however, on page 13, it indicated that it was delivered in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
And that was
That's the
mailing address of Halifax.
I believe so, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Henry, do you have any questions about this?
So where do you show the address on your proof of delivery?
Wasn't in here, there were indicated on page 13 that it was in Halifax, Nova Scotia, that it was delivered.
So you don't show where it was sent, you don't show any signature for receipt. Is that correct?
Just looking at it right now. Not at that document, no.
So all we know, it went to Halifax somewhere. Yeah, I dispute the non-compliance because lack of evidence by the assessor.
Okay, we'll take a 5-minute recess and the board will deliberate on this issue. Okay, we'll resume the hearing this afternoon for 628 Ellis Avenue. The board has considered the assessor's request that the burden of proof be placed on the applicant for non-cooperation. And the board has denied that request. So Brian, you have to go first so you can continue on with your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So on page 3 are the photos of the subject property. On page 4 is where the income valuation summary is. There were, as I mentioned earlier, there are 2 assessments on this one. The first one I will go through the apartment or the multi-family income valuation summary. The gross potential rent is $354,103. Vacancy rate of 3.2%, or in terms of dollars, it's 11,331. Giving it an effective gross income of $342,772. With an expense ratio of 48.87%, or $167,513. The net operating income is $175,259. Applying the capitalization rate of 5.7%, the capitalized income is $3,074,719, or $3,075,000. The second assessment is the retail or commercial side. It has a gross potential rent of $32,884, a vacancy rate of 6.0% or 6 flat. In terms of dollars, it's $1,973. And the effective gross income for the retail or commercial is $30,911. With a shortfall rate of $7 per square foot, the shortfall in terms of dollars is $927, sorry. And the expense rate is 3%. Expenses in terms of dollars of $927. And the net operating income for the commercial section is $29,057. Applying the capitalization rate of 7.25%, the capitalized income is $400,786 or $401,000. Page 6 are the rent comparables. The first one is located at 269 Yonge Street. The average monthly rent per unit is $728. The second one is located at 177 Colony Street. The average monthly rent per unit is $751. The third one is located at 761 Wolseley Avenue. The average monthly rent per unit is $806. And the last one is located at 250 Colony Street. The average monthly rent per unit is $886.
I don't dispute the residential. If you know that, then maybe speed it up a little bit. Sorry.
Okay. Almost done. Comparable lease for the commercial section. The first one is located at 770 Nordame Avenue. The net rent is $14. And then the next one is 877 Westminster Avenue. The net rent is $19.92. And the last one is located at 1110 Portage Avenue. The net rent per square foot is $16.43. I've mentioned earlier on page 8, the capitalization rate schedule or spreadsheet. And then on the next page is the sales, where capitalization rates or capitalization rate evidence is on page 9. And on pages 10 to 14, we've discussed that earlier in the preliminary, and that's my presentation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Henry, any questions?
Would you agree that the commercial is vacant or has been vacant for a long time?
Based on the pictures, it looks like it's boarded up.
Okay, so you did not allow for the fact it's totally vacant?
I just used the whatever's the model derived vacancy rate, which is 6%.
That's all questions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bob, any questions?
Bob, you're muted.
Just a comment, I'm experiencing complete disconnection off and on over the last 3 or 4 minutes.
We haven't seen it on our end.
Okay. No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Ian.
I have a question with respect to the square footage of the retail area. You have 2207 square feet in your brief, Mr. Valderrama. And I see that there's a disagreement, I guess, or a discrepancy of some 307 square feet, with 1900 square feet being quoted by the applicant's brief. How did you come up with the 2207?
This has been in our record for how many cycles now? So and without receiving the INEs, there's no way to verify it from our end as well, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And I have no questions. Thank you. Henry, you can go ahead with your presentation.
Okay, so the first page, it shows that the residential assessment is not being disputed. So we're disputing the commercial only. From 401 to 157. We show the photos and it shows the boarded up section. Then we have the description. It says second paragraph is occupied by a pawn shop, but it's vacant, boarded up at present. Then we had the aerial photo with some parking in the back, some more photos. It's for lease. It's Everson Young says 1,400 square feet there, but we have the leasing information in the appendix. Then we have a nice sunset photos showing boarded up again. We should go to the appendix. So we start, it's a 2017 questionnaire. First page is blank, then had the revenue and expense.
Which page are you on?
The appendix, I think it says page 14, 15, okay. It does have numbers. I'm actually skipping over those. I'm just going to go to the listing of the photos, page 21 of the residential component, but we're not disputing that. Then at page 25, there's the listing.
Just hang on for a second.
So if you all have that, that has a sketch from the listing. And it shows option 1, 1,275 square feet, if they have only parked in green, and option 2, 1,900 square feet. And that's what we use. So everybody got that? I can move on. Page 26 had photos of what the pawn shop and the used to look like. And then some more residential. So I'll go back to my report. Page 7. So it shows income approach. 22 assessment was settled at the board revision, 2,859,000. It's now 3,075, and it's deemed close enough. It's a bit higher, but we do not dispute it. And we had settled the retail component down to 283. It was 338 down to 283. It's now up to 401. The retail component was fully vacant for a 22 assessment, and it was vacant prior to that also. So for 2022, the board city had 1372 rent, 6% vacancy, 8% cap rate. And now they have 6% vacancy. They lowered the cap rate 7.25. We dispute that because the property, where its location, its age, and etc., should be at 8%. Due to vacant age, be built 64. Inferior location, West End shows that. We also dispute the market rent of 1490. We show some rent comparables. Sergeant Ellis, Wall, Ellis. We show those rents. Average 1036. We use $12 a square foot on 1,900 square feet. We apply 25% vacancy because it's fully vacant, been vacant for quite a while. And then the summary is shown on page 9. So it shows our rent, square footage, which is dispute, the rent which is in dispute, vacancy is in dispute, and the cap rate. So it comes 157,000 for the commercial. We don't dispute the residential, so that's my report.
Thank you very much. Ryan, any questions?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
Bob,
No questions, thank you.
Ian,
No questions, thanks.
and I have no questions. So that concludes 620 Ellis Avenue. The next one on the docket is 346 Broadway. And Ryan, you can proceed with your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next property has a file number of 22-2487. It has a roll number of 12-092-568-000. It is located at 346 Broadway. We're dealing with the roll year of 2023. Using the reference date of April 1st, 2021. The property has split assessment. The first assessed value is $454,000 with a classification of 60 or other property and a liability of taxable. The next assessment has an assessed value of $3,442,000 with a classification of residential 2 and a liability of fully taxable. The property is a residential apartment multi-use. It has one building with 4 stories, an actual and effective years built of 1949 to 2008. It has 30 suites with a land area of 16,976 square feet, a planned area of 10,753 square feet, and a gross floor area of 39,451 square feet. On page 3 are a couple of photos of the subject property. And on page 4 is the income valuation summary. The first section is the apartment section, the multifamily section. It has a gross potential rent of $367,520, a vacancy rate of 4.7%, or in terms of dollars, $17,273, giving it an effective gross income of $350,247. Applying the expense ratio of 47.92%, or $167,838, the net operating income is $182,409. Applying the capitalization rate of 5.3%, the capitalized income is $3,441,679, or $3,442,000 rounded. The next assessment is the commercial assessment. It has a gross potential rent of $47,280, a vacancy rate of 15%, or $7,092, and it has an effective gross income of $40,188. The shortfall rate for the commercial side is $8 per square foot, giving it a total shortfall of $7,200. Expense rate of 3%, or in terms of dollars, it's $1,206, giving it a net operating income of $31,782. Applying the capitalization rate of 7%, the capitalized income is $454,029, or $454,000 rounded. On page 6, I do have some rent comparables here. The first one is located at 61 Edmonton Street with an average monthly rent of $1,000 per unit of $1,030. The second one is located at 270 Broadway. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $1,058. The third one is located at 98 Market Avenue. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $1,265. And the last one is located at 301 Broadway. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $1,042. Page 7 is the comparable leases for the commercial section. The first one is located at 237 Portage Avenue. It has a net rent of $16 per square foot. Second one is located at 233 Portage Avenue. It has a net rent per square foot of $12. Third one is located at 167 Lombard Avenue. It has a net rent per square foot of $11.50. Fourth one is located at 123 Bannatyne Avenue. It has a net rent per square foot of $14 per square foot. And the last one is located at 213 Notre Dame Avenue. It has a net rent per square foot of $16.09. Page 8 is where the capitalization rate schedule is. And on page 9, capitalization rate evidence. And on pages 10 to 11 is where the 2020 income and expense information for the subject property is. And that's my presentation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Henry, do you have any questions of Ryan?
Yes, the first page you show age 1949 and dash 2008. Where does that 2008 come from?
I don't have the permits or anything that would tell me where the 2008 section is. I don't have that information, Mr. Chair. Sorry.
So the what you publish online is 1949 is the age. So I'm just wondering why this report is in conflict with your own online income approach.
1949, I believe, online is the blended between 1949 and 2008. So most likely there was something that was done, but I don't want to assume or anything without knowing the details of why there was a 2008 on the on my page 1.
It's all questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bob, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Ian?
And I have no questions. Thank you.
So Ryan, I have one question. Wouldn't it seem odd that there was this extent of variation in the effective age?
It may, however, again, as I mentioned, I have no information on what the 2008 portion is, or if there is any renovation that was done on this one. This may, I can look at further why it's a 2008 after the fact or after this hearing.
Okay, because it seems to be a significant change from the original construction date.
I understand, yes.
At page 19 of my report, the sessions online there shows 1949 for the apartment, 1949 for the office. So I assume your model was based on 1949 and nothing with 2008.
Maybe. I have no information or have no knowledge of what transpired and why the 2008 appeared on the effective and actual years built.
And that's why I questioned it, Henry. Well, we'll leave it there. That's all my questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And Henry, you can start your presentation.
Altus, okay. Page 1, so we're asking for a reduction in both. The commercial, we're disputing the cap rate only. So that it simplifies the process there. So we show a photo. The offices are inside the apartment. There's no sign, there's no street exposure. It's mainly Ackman owns the building, and that's their offices that they use. So that if you went on the market, if Ackman would move out of their own building, it would be difficult to rent, to find somebody that would want to go there. The offices are relatively nice, but it's not a commercial entrance or no sign, street exposure, etc. So there's the inherent risk because of that. That's why we want to adjust the cap rate. Now we can scroll to page 7, which gives you the aerial photo. It shows the map. It has no parking. So it has parking on the lot across the lane, which is assessed separately. It's another negative part of that. Then we have the Google map, shows where it is between Hargrave and Carlton. And scroll some more. Cap rate, the assessor's cap rate. I don't know, this seems wrong here. Yeah, okay, I guess that's from another report. Assessor's cap rate is 5.3, I believe, and we're going using 5.75. So the top of that part is wrong. So it's built 1949, which is the age group 46 to 59 that we have at 5.75 from our cap rate study. So it's at the low end, and that's where the age. So that's where we go. For comments applicable to the cap rate, they have no parking on site. It's all in a separate lot, and they're competing with new apartments downtown. So they have the two negative factors, and that supports the cap rate 5.75. We calculate the taxes based on the assessment and the mill rates, etc. And then we have the income report on the next page 13. So it shows the rents that it has. Line 1, line 2 has some high discounts, so they guess they're pushing the rents to the max. Line 3, after discounts, the rents are $1,007 per suite, which is quite high for an old property. So they are pushing the rents, and so they get vacancy and discounts from that. So we use the actual vacancy. And the assessor has higher vacancy. We do 4.7 versus our 3.5. We use actual bad debt, 3 years. Laundry, we use the 3-year average. It shows commercial income. That's what they charge themselves. Actually, we exclude that. And parking, there's no parking income because it's on the lot behind there at 84 Hargrave. Based on a share of square footage, the subject is 87.3. So we have a little typo on top. So the 12.7 is commercial. So 87.3 is a residential. So some of the expenses now, the insurance, we're going allocate 87.3 to the apartment management 5%. In the professional office is the 2-year average. Some the allocation, all utilities times allocation. Waste and snow 3 years times allocation. The repair minutes is stabilized times allocation. Caretaker all for the apartments, and taxes are calculated. The repair minutes, actually, I did not include it, but we did do a special page on repair maintenance because we had a financial statements and I forgot to include it, but we stabilized it, each and every item. Maybe I can find it quickly. Yeah, I have the spreadsheet. So we did do stabilize. We excluded the roof. We excluded the capex at the 46,000 2018, 35,000 2020. All the other items we use a 5-year average. They show no flooring replacement. They had that maybe as part of their general building. They categorize it differently. So we stabilize by doing that to these particular items. To go back. So then once we stabilize, we have the NOI lower than the assessor. Our AGI line 13 is actually a bit higher than the assessor. But we have the higher expenses, then higher cap rate. So on the commercial next page, we don't dispute the commercial except for cap rate. So the city applied 7% cap rate. And we apply 8% because of the inherent risk that it has. So that the next page, page 16, has the income approach for the commercial. It shows the rent, vacancy, etc. It's everything the same as the assessor. The last line on that page says the 2020 Board Division decision was 423 based on 8% cap rate and $7 rent. It appears that's what it works out to. That's my submission. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan, do you have any questions?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
Bob
No questions, thank you.
and Ian.
No, thank you.
And I have no questions.
Mr. Chair, may I request a 3-minute break?
We'll give you 5, Bob.
Thank you.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we'll resume the hearing. And the next property on the docket is 90 Gary Street. And Ryan, you can proceed with your presentation.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, what's the address?
90 Gary Street.
90. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next property has a file number of 22-3154. It has a roll number of 1209244640. The property is located at 90 Gary Street. We're dealing with the roll year of 2023, and we're using the reference date of April 1st, 2021. There are 2 split assessments on the property. The first property has an assessed value of $16,830,000, a classification of residential 2, and a liability of taxable. The second assessment has an assessed value of $1,734,000, a classification of 60 or other, and a liability of taxable. The property is a residential apartment multi-use with 3 buildings, 1 to 18 stories, an actual year and effective year built of 1986, 113 suites, and an outdoor parking of 142. The land area is 31,470 square feet. The plan area is 8,468 square feet. Gross floor area of 156,938 square feet. On page 3 are the aerial photos of the subject property. On page 4 is the income valuation summary. The first one, the apartment or multi-family section of the property has a gross potential rent of $1,826,559. It has a vacancy rate of 4.7% or $85,848, and an effective gross income of $1,740,711. Applying the expense ratio of 49.24% or $857,126, the net operating income is $883,585. Using the capitalization rate of 5.25%, the capitalized income is $16,830,190 or $16,830,000 rounded. The next assessment our income valuation is for the commercial section. It has a gross potential rent of $148,126, a vacancy rate of 6%, or in terms of dollars, $8,888. It has an effective gross income of $139,238, a shortfall rate of $7 per square foot or $6,040, an expense ratio of 3%, and in terms of dollars, it's $4,177, and it has a net operating income of $129,021. Applying the capitalization rate of 7.55%, the capitalized income is $1,708,887, or $1,709,000 rounded. On page 6 are rent comparables. The first one is located at 160 Smith Street. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $1,412. The second one is located at 346 Broadway. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $1,407. The third one is located at 242 Hargrave Street. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $1,794. And the last one is located at 92 Princess Street. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $1,576. On the next page, page 7, the comparable leases. The first one is located at 100 Princess Street, has a net rent per square foot of $11.36. Next one is located at 80 Rory. It has a net rent per square foot of $11.07. And the last one is located at 295 Portage Avenue. The net rent per square foot is $12 per square foot. Page 8 is the capitalization rate schedule. Page 9 is the capitalization rate evidence schedule. And on pages 10 up to page 14 is where the 2020 income and expense information for the subject property is. And that's my presentation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Henry, do you have any questions of Ryan?
Yes. Yes, well, I'm added to the your comparable rents on page 6. One of them is 246 Broadway, and you have it as 1407. And we just had this property, and the gross rent before discount was 1407, but after discount was 1007. So would you agree that you're showing your rents there prior to discounts for all the properties there?
The average monthly rent per unit is the average monthly rent. Discounts is just a decision made by property owners or property managers. But of course, I mean, they advertise it as average monthly rent as 1407. So I'll go with the 1407 before discounts.
So they're not getting that 1407, they're getting 1007. You would agree with that?
Whenever they're getting the average monthly rent is what they were asking. If they decide to put or to include discounts or not, it's up to them. It's their business decision. So we're using 1407 as a comparable on this property.
Okay, so you probably did the gross rents before discounts for the other properties also, the 4 comparables there.
I believe so, probably. Without information handy or attached to our, we can't really assume or anything, but yeah, we're going or relying with average monthly rent per unit.
That's all questions I have.
Thank you, sir.
Bob, do you have any questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Ryan. Page 3, the photo. Is there a multi-level parkade as part of this property?
Page 3. Yes, the bottom part of the property looks like it is a parkade, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so there's a covered main floor area and then a roof area. Would that be right?
Yes, it looks like a multi-level parkade.
Okay, and my second question would be regarding the commercial area. Are these arm's length tenants or are these part of that? Are they on the main floor and the lower level of this address, and then the rest is residential? Is that right?
I wasn't able to inspect the property, so I wouldn't be sure where they are located. However, usually for residential apartment mix use, they're in the first floor or first few floors of the building,
Okay.
usually.
And my last question is, we're located just south of Broadway, right across from the Hotel Fork area. Is that right? On the west side?
Looks like it is on the west side of the revolving the building with the revolving
Okay.
restaurant, or used to be revolving restaurant. Something.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ian, any questions?
My only question is with respect to the rent per square foot on the retail. It shows varying amounts. Are these from actuals, or is this from the model based on the square footage? I'm looking at page 5 of your subject property market income page.
Yeah, I believe these are from model parameters.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I have no questions. So Henry, you can start with your presentation.
Okay, so report. So the first page shows a photo. We're asking for reduction on both residential, commercial. Then we can skip to page 8. Site description shows the area and the map, and it is the location across from Fork Area Hotel and the apartment complex at the 85 Gary. Then we have the Google Maps there shown. Next page. Cap rate, we don't dispute. They're using 5.25, so are we. The next page, we calculate the taxes based on the actual assessment for 2020 assessment to 15.8 million times the mill rates and frontage, etc. Then the next page is the income approach. It shows there the on top right, the commercial area is 10.1% of the total square footage. So now this property also has fairly large discounts. So line 1, and then potential rent discounts, potential market rents, line 3 after discount, which stabilize at actual. And that's $13.53 per suite. Which is quite high. They're built in 1986. You can see on top there. So that's relatively high rent. Now the vacancy they're getting, line 4, they're pushing the rents. They've had very high vacancy for the last 5 years. So the it's all related to the level of rents that they have. So the actual vacancy was 15.4 for 2020, but we used a 3-year average of 12.3. Bad debt, we used a 3-year average. The laundry, we used the 2020, slightly higher than the average. Parking, we used the actual 2020. Miscellaneous, we used 2020 actual. No, we're not allocating expenses there because the commercial expenses would be separate. and the financials. So we stabilize insurance, utilities and caretaker at the 2020 as normal, management 5%, professional and office at 3-year average, so is advertising 3-year average, and waste and store 3-year average. Taxes are calculated, leaves the repair maintenance, which should be on the next page, and I forgot to include it again. So we stabilize each and every item. The repair minutes are shown there, all the years, 277, 252, 310, 288, 424. We stabilize each individual item. We removed items that are high for a particular year, and we dropped the repair minutes down to 230,000. So then we don't dispute the assessor's cap rate. So our expenses are a bit higher than the assessor, our EGI a bit lower than the assessor. So our value is 15,300,000. And it says bottom, the 2-bedroom suites of each suite washer dryer. And the recoveries from the commercials deducted from the repair maintenance. So page 17 is the commercial. So we show the rent rolls to the first 3 units are vacant. B is the basement. So they have some lower rents there, and more difficulty in renting. And then the shows the actual rents that we have there. They're shown as net, the base rents, and the stabilized rents. Their contract rents are all the same. And then we have remarks for each one. We have the dates started, the dates lease end. And part of the lease, they have some reserve parking, etc. At the bottom of the page, it shows the assessor's parameters 2023. So they have rent of 1045 per square foot. Now it's worth to 966. Now the upper rents seem to be around that $10, but we have the basement at 7. Vacancy, assessors at 6%. We've allowed 12. The actual vacancy we have, the fourth last column, 2280 square feet is 17%. And then yeah, we showed the 2020 the assessor rent was only 917. Now they're 1045. So our vacancy is based on the actuals. Shortfall we don't dispute. We had the non-recoverable 5%. We had the parking. Which you see the parking and the financials. We allow 40% expenses off the parking. And then we allow the storage income. We use the assessor's cap rate, 7.55. So we get a value of 1,512,000. And the previous cycle, 2020, was 1,467,000. So we can go to the appendix. Hopefully quick enough. It's a very long statement. And we did not number them, so we just have the 2020 INE. We have all the rent rolls and some amount of pages for the rent rolls. And you go further down, you'll get the financials, which are detailed financials. And we allocated right from those financials. Where we have the notes in red, where we take some of the repair maintenance, we put some as commercial, and then we show that some are categorized as appliance, floors, etc. We did that for all their financial statements, each and every one. So we did that for all the years. And that's my submission.
Thank you very much. Ryan, do you have any questions of Henry?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
Bob?
Yes, two quick ones, please. Henry, I'm looking at the your workup on page, on the commercial side, class code 60. On page 15. And I note that the hydro and the water are very low for all those suites. Do the individual tenants for both commercial and residential pay? Is there electric baseboard heat in there, and they're paying for that utility?
I have to go to the questionnaire to ask you that. Questionnaire.
It seems awfully low for that side of a building. Is it possible the tenants are paying their own utilities?
Okay, I have the questionnaire here, so I got to rotate it counterclockwise. Services included in rent, heat, but heat and water. Tenants pay their own hydro.
Yeah. Is it possible they're paying their own electric baseboard heat? Because that's an awfully low utility rate for both hydro, or pardon me, gas and hydro for that large building.
Yeah, so I'm looking at 2016 questionnaire. That was the first one. Try to get the last one. Okay, so I got it. Actually, it says heat and hydro are paid separately by tenants. So only water is what they show as being paid.
Okay.
Yeah, so the tenants pay most of their utilities.
Okay.
So there would be for the common areas mainly that they would have the hydro charges.
I see.
You're right.
Okay. And my second question is, I guess you're accepting the assessor's methodology that parking structure not be assessed, or pardon me, evaluated separately, since it's a concrete 2-story parking structure? Because you haven't provided a workup on that structure in your workup at all.
Yeah, I guess I give all the parking income to residential.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to my commercial. Oh no, I do have parking. I show parking income 15,696, which is a actual parking revenue after 40% expenses.
Okay. Okay, that's all my questions. Thank you,
Yeah,
Mr.
so yeah, it's allowed in the income approach for the commercial.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ian, any questions?
No, I don't think so.
And I don't have any questions. So that concludes this property. The next one on the docket is 30 Carlton Street. And Ryan, you can start with your presentation.
Ryan, you're on mute.
Thank you. Sorry about that. The next property has a file number 22-2159. The roll number for the property is 120926330000. The property is located at 30 Carlton Street. We're dealing with the roll year of 2023 using the reference date of April 1st, 2021. There are two assessments to the property. The first one has an assessed value of $1,012,000. It is classified as a residential 2 with a liability of fully taxable. The second assessment has an assessed value of $267,000. It is classified as an other property with a liability of fully taxable. The property is a residential apartment, a multi-use. It has one building, 3 stories, an actual and effective year built of 1954. It has 11 suites and 5 outdoor parking. It has a land area of 6,017 square feet, a plan area or a plan area of 4,096 square feet, a gross floor area of 12,664 square feet. On page 3 are a couple of subject properties photos. And on page 4 is the income valuation summary. For the apartment or multifamily section, the gross potential rent is $120,150. The vacancy rate is 4.7%. In terms of dollars, it is $5,647. It has an effective gross income of $114,503. Has an expense rate of 54.93% or $62,896. The net operating income for the multifamily or apartment section is $51,607. Applying the capitalization rate of 5.1%, the capitalized income is $1,011,902 or $1,012,000 rounded. For the commercial section, the gross potential rent is $20,416, vacancy rate of 6% or $1,225. The effective gross income is $19,191. Shortfall rate is $7 per square foot, or a total shortfall of $582. The expense ratio is 3%, and expenses in terms of dollars, is $576, giving it a net operating income of $18,033. Capitalization rate on the commercial section is 6.75%. Applying that to the net operating income, the capitalized income is $267,156 or $267,000 rounded. On page 6 are the rent comparables. The first one is located at 348 Assiniboine Avenue. It has an average monthly rent of $917. The second one is located at 391 Balmoral Street. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $916. The third one is located at 250 Broadway, and the average monthly rent per unit is $912. And the last one is located at 45 Carlton Street. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $1,038. On page 7 are comparable leases for the commercial section. The first one is located at 33 Hargrave Street. Its net rent per square foot is $20.55. And the next one is located at 90 Gary Street. It has a net rent per square foot of $9.50. Page 8 is the capitalization rate schedule. Page 9 are some sales pages. 10 to 11 is where the 2020 income and expense information is located. And that's my presentation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Henry, do you have any questions of Ryan?
No questions.
Thank you.
Oh,
No questions, thank you.
Ian,
No questions, thank you.
and I have no questions. So Henry, you can start with your presentation.
First page, I'm asking for reduction on both residential, commercial. And we show a photo, the next page, you can see that it's a small little store, convenience store, and a small little apartment. So it's not that prominent. And then we can skip to maps, property descriptions. You'll see the some of the maps it has, and the Google Map shows where it is, close to Cinnabon. So south of Broadway, so it's less busy by the time you get close to Cinnabon. Less foot traffic there. Then you go scroll down to cap rate. The assessor is using 5.1. We're using 5.75 based on our cap rate study. The site-specific comments. The parking, they have only 45% of the parking, so they have 5 parking stalls for 11 suites, and you're competing with high demand downtown. You see vacancy for downtown in December 2020 is 7.5%. So it's relatively high vacancy. So the income approach is shown on the next page. Rotate the view. So top right shows the by commercial area. Commercial is 10.9%. Residential is 89.1. So the stabilized line 3, we destabilize at actual. It's $856 in rent, which is not bad for an older property like that. The actual vacancy for 2020 was 17.7%. Year before 7.9. Year before 6.1. So they have a history of a high vacancy, and it's getting worse. I would suggest due to the new construction downtown, the market forces. But we did not stabilize 17.7. We stabilized at 3-year average 10.6. Then we added laundry and parking. Naturally, we excluded commercial income. So we're 102,000 EGI versus the assessor 114. The assessor got higher rents and lower vacancy than us. So with the last column is the part that we stabilized towards the commercial. So the commercial income stream is 26,520. That's what we show on the far right. So the insurance, we use 2020 times the allocation for residential. 5% management. Professional office, we use that for all for apartments, so is advertising. Hydro, we put it all for apartments. Tenant would pay hydro. For water and gas, we do the allocation. Waste and snow, we do the allocation. 3 years allocated. Repair maintenance. We use the average 2015, 2016, 18, 2020. We exclude 2017, 2019, which are high, shown there in red. And we apply 95%, even though the allocation is usually around 90, because tenants, commercial tenants do their own repair maintenance, except for the interiors. It should be lower than the square foot allocation. Other caretaking actual and taxes is calculated. Shows the tax calculated for commercial. So if you take the total expenses, you see there, line 31 for commercial, it's 8105. We take the commercial net rent as 26 less the tax, I believe, they recover. It makes the rent 1329. We'll get that in the next page. So the stabilized NOI for a subject residential is shown as 47, slightly lower than the assessor 51. We'll apply a lower cap, higher cap rate, we get 5.75. The residential assessment increased 31% over a previous assessment. There was a very high increase. Then we start with the retail. We show the cap rates for the regional brokers, etc. The city applied a relatively low cap rate, 6.75%. It's higher than the cap rate, 7.4 for 2020. It's higher than the market. Space is inferior because it's a small local tenant, and its location is not a good downtown, closer to the Cinnabon. So we apply 7.5%. So the commercial, so they're actually paying 1913 face rents. The expenses excluding the taxes are 8105 or 585 because they do recover taxes. Well, what they don't recover is 585. So that makes their rent, net rent, 1329. Then we apply the city's vacancy, 6%, city's shortfall. We apply non-recoverable expense. Then we apply our cap rate 7.5 versus the assessor 6.75. So that comes to a value of 207 versus the assessor 267. The assessor's rent 1473, and the actual is 1329 that we're using to stabilize. So we're different than the rent and cap rate. And you can go through the financials, but that's my submission.
Thank you very much. Ryan, any questions?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
And Bob?
No questions, thank you.
And Ian?
No questions, thank you.
And I have no questions, thank you. Now we're down to the last property on the docket. And I understand there's a preliminary issue with regards to non-cooperation. Let me just pull it up. Okay, Ryan, if you want to read the record for the first page of your brief and to read it into the record and then talk about your request.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next property has a file number 22-1629. It has a roll number of 12-092-551-500. It is located at 33 Hargrave Street. The roll year we're dealing with is 2023, using reference date of April 1st, 2021. The property has a split assessment. The first assessment has an assessed value of $35,883,000, and it is classified as a residential 2 taxable. And the second one, or the second assessment, has a value of $1,150,000. A classification of other property with a liability of taxable. The property is a residential apartment multi-use. It has one building, 23 stories, an actual year built of 1978, and an effective year built of 1998. It has 252 suites with 194 indoor parking and 8 outdoor parking. The land area is 24,222 square feet, planned area of 10,011 square feet, and a gross floor area of 284,248 square feet. I'm requesting that the burden of proof be placed on the applicant for non-cooperation based on section 53(3)(b) of the Municipal Assessment Act. And if a reduction in assessment is ordered, that it follow section 54(3)(2) of the Municipal Assessment Act. The basis of this one, Mr. Chair, is the late submission. The request was in May 2020. We received the response around July 30, 2020. I don't have the the documents that was attached or that was sent out. However, based on our records, we followed up on July 8, 2020. And we received the response July 30, 2020. And I'll leave it up to the board to decide. Thank you.
Thank you. So there is no signature card, nothing.
Nothing, Mr. Chair.
And Henry, do you have a response?
Yes, on September 7th, 2022, I sent an email to Ryan, and I guess he forgot about it. The 2019 INE was granted an extension. I sent them the letter to the assessor, the IE replies. I don't know if you can look at that. Or I can send that to the board, but it was so there was an extension granted, and they supplied the information one day before the extension. Can you look at the email sent to you September 7th?
Yeah, I did. Yes, I.
And if you look at the second last attachment is the extension letter, is the letter from the assessment department extending it till July 29th.
Send it to the assessment taxation, we won't have it.
We don't have that extension letter, Henry.
I know I sent it to Ryan. I asked him not to ask for the penalty at the board. I can send it to the board if you want. But if Ryan reads, you can see. And then the actual mailer, we have proof it was sent by email. I guess they have all the properties they sent by email, and it shows proof as to when they sent it.
We might have it. Let me see. Are you referring to September 7th? That I've got a Ryan request that you agree to 1 day for filing. Is that the one?
Oh no, not that one. Sorry.
Because this is for the 30th.
Okay. Sorry. September 12th. Sorry. September 12th.
Because we have one from September 7th.
Wrong date. September 12th.
And then
September 7th was the 1 day delay, and the September 12th I sent to Ryan asking that he agreed not to ask for compliance penalty. You can send that to the board if you want, Ryan, or you should be able to see that there was an extension granted.
to the 12th. That makes a difference. Okay, we don't have that secondary piece. I have the piece where you initially said for a 1 day delay for filing briefs. That we have, and then we have him acknowledging that being fine. I don't have any submissions after that one.
Ryan, you're reading it. If you don't agree, I can send it to the board.
Yeah, it's just a 1 day from the extension of July 29th. So yeah, I think I should.
And I believe you actually received it on 29th. our emails to the assessor proved it was sent on the 29th.
July 29th, right? For the
Yeah.
2019 INE. Okay. It's just my evidence here indicated that there was a follow-up in July 8th. So I guess there was after the fact request for an extension then.
Yeah, and it was signed by the assessment department,
granted. Okay.
by the city assessor. City assessor that should show in your system. And nevertheless, you do not ask for the penalty anymore.
I won't, Mr. Chair, if that's the case.
You're going to withdraw?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Well, let's proceed with the presentation. Brian?
Thank you for the clarification, Henry.
Yeah, welcome.
Okay, to continue on page 4 or page 3 are a couple of photos of the subject property. And on page 4, there are 3 income valuation summaries. The first one is the apartment or the multifamily income workup. It has a gross potential rent of $3,670,440. The vacancy rate is 4.7%. In terms of dollars, it is $172,511, which makes the effective gross income of about $3,497,929. The expense ratio is 47.17% or $1,649,973. The net operating income for the multifamily section is $1,847,956. Applying the capitalization rate of 5.15%, the capitalized income is $35,882,641. The next income valuation workup is the retail or the part of the 60T or the commercial section. The gross potential rent is $39,104. The vacancy rate is 6%. In terms of dollars, it is $2,346. The effective gross income is $36,758. The shortfall rate is $7 per square foot or a total of $1,284. The expense rate is 3% and expenses is $1,103. The net operating income for the retail section is $34,371. Applying the cap rate of 6.55%, the capitalized income is $524,748. And the third one, the third income valuation workup, has a gross potential rent of $55,382, vacancy rate of 11%, or vacancy in terms of dollars of about $6,092. The effective gross income is $49,290, and the shortfall rate is $12 per square foot, giving it a total shortfall of $5,636. Expense rate is 3%, and expenses in terms of dollars is $1,479. The net operating income is $42,175, and the capitalization rate, applying the capitalization rate of 6.75% to the net operating income, the capitalized income is $624,815. On page 6 are rent comparables. The first one is located at 300 Assiniboine Avenue. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $1,779. The next comparable is located at 90 Gary Street. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $1,479. And the third rent comparable is located at 160 Smith Street. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $1,412. And the last one is located at 242 Hargrave Street. It has an average monthly rent per unit of $1,794. Page 7, I have a few comparable leases. The first 4 are for the office. The first one is located at 220 Portage Avenue, and the net rent per square foot is $15. The second one is located at 30 4th Street. It has a net rent per square foot of $14.48. The third one is located at 83 Gary Street. It has a net rent per square foot of $16.78. The fourth comparable is located at 191 Pioneer Avenue. It has a net rent per square foot of $15.65. The next 3 are for the retail section of the assessment. The first comparable lease is located at 90 Gary Street. It has a net rent per square foot of $12. The next one is located at 179 Bannatyne Street. It has a net rent per square foot of $16.67. And the last one is located at 100 Princess Street. It has a net rent per square foot of $11.36. Page 8 is the capitalization rate schedule. And page 9 is the capitalization rate evidence chart. And pages 10 to 11 is the 2020 income and expense information for the subject property. And that's my presentation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Henry, do you have any questions of Ryan? He's muted.
Henry, you're muted. We can't hear you. Henry?
Yeah, you should hear me now.
Yep.
I had my fan on, it was too hot, so I had to mute it. The page 6, your rent comparables. So the subject is built 1998, and you got 2 comparables there, built 2016 and one 2018, 2019. Would you agree those are newer properties or superior?
Based on effective year built, they are newer. Superior, I haven't seen all of these, so inspected all of these, so I cannot ascertain if they are superior than the subject property.
Now, the square footage for the subject is 1128, and the other ones are 1591, 1300, 3200 for the last one. So it has smaller suites than the others.
Yes, based on gross floor area per unit, yes, the subject is smaller.
It's all questions I have.
Thank you. Bob, any questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Ryan, the effective year built on the subject property is 1998. Did this property, looking at the photos on your page 3, did it undergo any history of extensive renovations on this property in the way of modernization?
Looking at the effective year built, it was changed to and added, make it newer, 20 years newer. So basing on those numbers, I would say there was an extensive renovation done. However, the particulars of this renovation, I have no information on my evidence, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Bob. Ian, any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I have no questions. So therefore, Henry, you can make your presentation.
Okay. First page shows, I got to rotate it. I'm asking for a very large cut on the residential from 35 million to 24. Commercial, it's a big cut percentage wise, but not so big dollar wise. Then we showed a photo, then we showed the bottom photo was the main floor, the commercial that it has. And we could skip to some of the reports. We showed the residential. The property was extensively renovated in 2007 and 2008. We've had this property for a very long time, so we have statements going back many years. So page 7 shows aerial photo. Then it shows a Google map where it is. So it's close to Assiniboine. Then we could scroll down to the cap rate. The assessor applied 5.15. We're using 5.25. So our cap rate difference is not that large. For site-specific comments, the stalls, they have only 82.5% of total suites, and they're competing with new apartments downtown. So we use 5.25. The next page, we calculate the taxes based on the assessment. Then we have the income approach summary. So the numbers did not show up. I don't think they matter that much. 2016 numbers, some did not show up at the average. But the one that matters the most is the bottom right, second last column. The 2020 MBM COA was 34,872,000. They settled exactly of what the 2018 COA was. So that's the number they had. So the Altus NOI shown there on line 33 was 1,000,007, but it was settled by adjusting the overall NOI, not shown how the details from 1,000,008, and it came to 3,472, mainly because the assessor was using the 2018 as our main argument. So now if we go to municipal board on this one, or go to this board now, these past assessments become important. We're a lot lower now. We're 10 million less, mainly because the figures have changed. And so that's why I show them, because it's a big reduction. And I want to be able to show how I arrived at that. So line 1 shows the potential growth strength for each of the years. In the 2016, it's not shown there, but it was 3,527,000. So they're basically stuck at the same rents for the last 5 years. But the discounts have gone up from 91,000 to 250 by 2019 to 10 for 2020. So the market is pushing back on those rents based on the all the actions of the market, so what they have out there. So the line 3 averages 1144, which is not bad for 1978 building, but it's been renovated. So based on its own factors, smaller suites and all that, and the suite mix, that's what they're getting. Now line 4, the vacancy, even though the rents have been the same, the vacancy in 2016 was 126, went up to 220, went up to 380, now up to 597. So the prior settlements were based on the lower vacancies they had before. So if you see, we stabilized actual COA 2017 3432 is what we settled, the actual rents. We settled a 6% vacancy, but it had only 6.4 actual at the time. Now at 17.3%, I stabilized at 3-year average of 13.4, which is a lot less than actual. We stabilized the bad debt. Also, the bad debt is going up at 3-year average. 2020, we settled at 14,203. Actual bad debt was 14. Now it's now 82,000, much higher. The laundry, pretty much stable all along. Same for the settlements. Parking actually has gone down. So it used to be 203 back in 2016, 178 for 2017. It went down to 114. Also, market forces. So we had settled 2020, basic actual 2017. No, I'm using actual 2020. Miscellaneous income went up slightly, and we use the actual higher, which is higher than the settlement. So line 13, we're at 3150 EGI, and we had stabilized at 3478 for 2020. The actual decrease from 2017 to 2020 is 471,000. So line 13, it was used to be 3462. It's now 29991. So they lost about $500,000 in income during that time frame. Insurance actually went down from the 2017 level. That's what we use. Actually, we use the average. It went down for some reason at 39.50, went back up to 81. I don't know why it went up, so I use a 3-year average. Management 5%. Office and sundry. It was high in the last 4 years. We had settled a lower amount for 2020 because the previous year was only 35. So that's one of the concessions we made, but now we have 4-year history at that level. So we stabilize the 3-year average. Advertising, we use the 3-year average. We had higher for the 2020 COA. Utilities went down for hydro, water quite a bit. We use a lower one. And gas went up slightly. So the utility was 420 for 2017, now 358. We use a lower one. Cable, it went down. We're using the lower ones, lower than COA. Waste and snow small, we use 3-year average. Repair maintenance, we stabilized at 415 last time around. This time we stabilized 449. So repair maintenance, not a big difference. Caretaker was 242 for 2017. It went up quite a bit, but we stabilized at 2016, 2019. We screwed a high 2020. But it's been higher than 2017 level. Taxes were, we had settled 463 in the 2017 that had to be allocated. So we are allocating taxes pretty much the same. So expenses is now stabilized 1,869, about 100,000 more. So we have $500,000 less income, 100,000 more in expenses the last time around. So NOI 1,281, 504 cap, it makes it 24,000,004. We show the stabilized difference in blue. So that you just stabilize. The income went down 471, but we stabilized at only 228 less. Then commercial. We use 25% for the office, 6% for retail, 6.75 cap rate, 6.55, then it shows the following page. So the office has been vacant, 3,360. Vacant since December 2014. So it's been vacant for a very, very long time. Bottom of the page, the assessor is using $1,297. Rent, we're using slightly higher, $1,322, but we dispute the area. They use 4,270 square feet. we have 3360 from the rent roll. The assessor's cap is 6.75. That's what we use. It shows we settled 2020 MBM with 3674, the rentable area. So now we settled the lower area. Now it goes back up again. Now we use 3360 from the rent rolls. We had settled 2020 settlement, 25% vacancy, and well, that's what we're asking for again. So we had settled 352 last time. We're asking for 310. And the assessment almost doubled from what it was from the settlement. Then the next one's a retail. Those are actually rented. Just using 1297 rent. We're using 1002. I was using actual. I'm quoting the office. The assessor is 1279 and 3058 for a rentable area. So we have lower rent, same shortfall, same cap rate. So we dispute the rents and the non-recoverable. So these are based on the actual leases in place. It shows the gross with the unrecovered expenses. We can go to the financial statements or the appendix, sorry. So we have the city data first, and we have the questionnaire for 2016. So I start with the older one first. But it shows there the first one's residential rent and commercial rent shown separately. Then it shows the next page, page 2, which shows the in red how we stabilize some of the expenses, where we put that in our stabilization. It shows the commercial rent roll, the square footage, etc. And the 2020 would be towards the end. Right at the end, we have the 2020 settlements. Then just before that is the some of their building improvements. What they have separate building improvements. And that's my submissions based on the actuals that they have. And, the fact that the property has got a lot worse.
And that's it.
Yes, that's it.
Thank you very much. Ryan, do you have any questions?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
Bob,
No questions, thank you.
Ian,
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
and I don't have any questions, so that concludes the last property in the docket. We've heard all of the items scheduled for today's hearing, and this hearing is now adjourned.